Alright guys, this is No Dramas here, coming at you again with another video. Now I'm sorry it's been quite a while since I made one of my last videos, but hopefully this video should go some of the way to explaining why that is, and should give you some tips on how you can gain ELO fast in League of Legends in Season 7. Now the reason I was spurred to make this video is because in Season 7 I did really badly, my placements went 3-7, I ended up getting placed in Gold 5 from Diamond. Now this meant I had a really long way to climb, but I saw it as an opportunity to say, you know, I haven't really made a big push to just climb ELO as fast as I can for a long time, so why not make it now? Now I didn't really play over Christmas, I didn't really start playing properly until I came back from my Christmas break, which is about January the 1st, and I've been playing pretty hard for the past 2 weeks, and you'll see in this graph, I've actually made it back to Diamond already in just 2 weeks. Now I hope that is proof enough guys that gaining ELO fast can be done, but without further ado, let's get into this video, let's get into some tips that you can use yourself to gain ELO as fast as you possibly can in the video game we all know and love, League of Legends. Now before I start this list, I just want to say that ELO does not directly link up with skill of a player. Now that may sound kind of weird because ELO is definitely a very good indicator of skill, but for some of the tips I'm going to give you, they're more about climbing ELO than actually getting better as a player. And I still think you should use them because honestly, if you want to get better as a player, it's best to first get to a high ELO, or a higher ELO than maybe you should be at. So then you can play against players that are better than you essentially, or play with other high ELO players that are more skillful than you and sort of pick up tips from those players you play against. Now my first and probably biggest tip I can give you for gaining ELO fast is fewer champs equals more skill with those champions, which equals more wins with those champions. Now when I was climbing from Gold 5 back to Diamond, I just went straight back to my comfort champions. I played a few other champions in different roles just to try some things out, but honestly, for probably 80% or more of my games, I either played Twitch, Caitlyn, Hecarim, Rek'Sai or Kha'Zix. They're my most comfortable champions, they're the champions I'm best at, they're the champions I have high win rates with all those champions. And just naturally that means I'm going to win a lot of games with these champions compared to if I tried to play another champion in those roles. Just because if I stick to those champions and play them game after game after game, I learn that champion. I'm not just playing that champion for the one game, I'm actually learning that champion's ins and outs, learning all the matchups, learning how to play in team fights, learning how to play around the map with that champion. And it's so much better to play a few champions well than to play loads of different champions or to try and counterpick all the time. It's worth noticing as well from that list, all those champions I talked about were pretty meta for when I played them, which is the start of Season 7. Now I know there's a lot of controversy about the meta, and you obviously get a lot of one tricks who don't play the meta, who just play whatever and still get a challenger. But if you want to climb, playing the meta is a pretty smart thing to do because the meta champions are meta for a reason. They're meta because they are the best picks in those roles, or better picks than something else in those roles at the time. Now when I say that, I'm not saying you should drop all the champions you're playing and just go and read up on the meta and just pick a meta champ and learn the meta champ. What you really should do is play what's comfortable to you. If you have champions with high win rates that you're good at, that you know you're good at, that you're really comfortable playing, that you know all the matchups of, keep playing those champions. But if you're going to pick up a new champion, it's really best to pick up a champion that's in the meta at the moment, or that's coming into the meta, because they are the strongest champions and you'll have the easiest time finding success with those champions. Now the second thing you can notice about my champion pool when I was climbing is that I was only playing 2 roles at the time. I was playing jungle and I was playing ADC because those are the 2 roles I know I am best at. Now if I started messing about playing mid and top, I would have really struggled because I'm honestly not very good at those roles at all. All that would have done is spread me too thin. I would have been trying to learn too many different things at once, and I would have been slowing down my ELO game by trying to learn a whole new role I know I'm not very good at, that I know I don't play to as good a level as my jungle or my ADC. Now what this really boils down to is that you want to pick 2 roles that you're good at, and you want to queue those 2 roles. Queue the role you're best at first, queue the role you're second best at second. And within those roles, you don't want to play more than 3 or 4 champions realistically, because when you start having more champions like that in your pool, you're spreading yourself too thin and you're not really learning those champions by playing them for 50, 100 games. Or it's going to take you a long time to play those 50 or 100 games of those champions to really learn the ins and outs of that champion. And you're not going to get the most out of that champion, and you're not going to win as many games with that champion in general. Now the last thing that can really be noted from a champion pool is that I was mostly playing champions that A, I'm comfortable with, and that B, are pretty easy champions to play mechanically, with the exception of maybe Twitch and Kha'Zix. Now in general, climbing in ELO is more about decision making and learning how to play the map than actually mechanics itself. Now we all know the usual suspects, and I'm sure you all know what I'm going to say here. If you're stuck in silver, gold, bronze, even platinum honestly, and even low diamond, if you're stuck playing Riven, Yasuo, Zed, the usual suspects, you're hindering yourself from actually climbing in an effective manner. The real benefit of playing easy champions like Annie, Caitlyn and Hecarim is that you kind of take mechanics out of the equation and you can just focus on getting better decision making, and it means that even if you don't have very good mechanics, you can still outplay a Riven who has good mechanics just by ulting them and like bursting them in one shot with Annie or something. And ultimately this is going to make your ELO grind so much faster. The reality of the situation is, if you're playing these really high skill cap champions like Riven, Yasuo and Zed, and you're stuck in, let's say, gold, the reality is that you might think you're really good at these champions, but the reality is that if you were really good at these champions, you simply wouldn't be in gold. You would get out of that ELO very, very fast just by having good mechanics on those champions, because they are 1v5 kind of champions. Well, that basically sums up my video then, guys. If you really want to climb ELO fast, drop the Riven and pick up some champions that are, pretty easy to play, pretty good in the meta at the moment. Don't play too many of them, and just focus on your decision making throughout your games. I promise you guys, if you follow these tips, you will gain some ELO. You gain at least a couple of divisions for sure. And at the end of the day, you got to put the practice in to get better at the game. So you got to play some games in the day. And I say, if you play loads and loads of games in ELO and you're still stuck, try taking a break between games, because if you think about League like a game of football, you can't play game after game after game of football because you get tired, right? Now you might think it's not the same with League of Legends, but honestly, if you're sitting there playing game after game after game, you get brain fatigue, and this is a real thing. Your brain gets sort of tired. It doesn't work 100%, or you can't give every game 100%. And if you want to climb as fast as you can, or in the fewest games as possible, you want to give yourself a little break between games, give yourself a treat between games, go for a walk, go and just do something else for a bit, do some homework, do some whatever. You will get some ELO, guys. Thank you for watching the video. Please drop a like if you found this helpful and informative. And subscribe to me if you want to see more like this in the future. I will be continuing my League Lottery series pretty soon, so you can find that on my channel in the description below. And I'll see you again for another video.